Trade wars aren't just about politics. They hit the products we use every day. The effects of international disputes can be felt in the most unexpected places, from the aisles of your local supermarket to the vending machine at your office. When countries impose tariffs and restrictions, it's not just governments that feel the impact, it's everyday people, and the brands they love that end up paying the price. For Coca-Cola, global tariffs can mean big trouble. The company operates in more than 200 countries, and its supply chain stretches across continents. Even a small change in trade policy can send shockwaves through its operations, affecting everything from the cost of raw materials to the final price you pay at the checkout. The company relies on a smooth supply chain to keep its drinks affordable worldwide. Every step, from sourcing ingredients to delivering the final product, is carefully coordinated. Disruptions like sudden tariffs can throw this delicate balance off, leading to delays, shortages, and higher costs. When tariffs, like those proposed by former President Trump on aluminum, hit, costs spike. These policies are often intended to protect domestic industries, but they can have unintended consequences for companies that depend on global trade. Aluminum is crucial for Coke's cans, and a price jump threatens its business model. The cost of making each can goes up, and with millions produced every day, even a small increase adds up to millions of dollars in extra expenses. Coca-Cola's leaders warn these policies could force major changes. They may have to rethink their sourcing strategies, renegotiate contracts, or even pass costs on to consumers. Every decision is a balancing act between staying competitive and maintaining their reputation. A decision in Washington can raise the price of a Coke in your local store. What seems like a distant policy debate can quickly become a reality at the checkout counter, affecting families and individuals everywhere. Even the biggest brands aren't immune to global politics. No matter how iconic or widespread, companies like Coca-Cola must constantly adapt to a changing world, where international tensions can alter the business landscape overnight. The EV trade war isn't just about cars, it's reshaping business for everyone. As countries compete over new technologies and resources, the ripple effects touch every industry, from soft drinks to electronics, making the global marketplace more unpredictable than ever. Coca-Cola must juggle profits, shareholder expectations, and its image as a beloved brand. The company faces pressure to deliver strong financial results while also staying true to its values and keeping customers happy. Tariffs force tough choices that ripple through the company and to consumers. Workers may worry about job security, while customers notice higher prices or fewer options on the shelves. The stakes are high. Every decision affects the environment, customers, and Coke's future. From sourcing sustainable materials to supporting local communities, the company must weigh every consequence in a world where change is constant. This is how a simple can of soda gets caught in a global economic crossfire. What starts as a policy in a distant capital can end up changing the way you enjoy your favorite drink. And it reveals the new challenges facing big business today. In a world where politics and economics are more connected than ever, companies must be ready to adapt, innovate, and respond to forces far beyond their control. Coca-Cola, one of the world's most iconic beverage companies, now faces a tough and complex choice that could shape its future and impact millions of consumers worldwide. The company must decide whether to stick with its classic aluminum cans, a symbol of its brand for decades, or make a significant shift to plastic bottles, a move that could change how people experience their favorite drink. Aluminum cans have long been praised for being lightweight, chilling quickly, and most importantly, being endlessly recyclable. This makes them a favorite among environmentalists and consumers who care about sustainability. However, a new 25% tariff on imported aluminum has sent shockwaves through the industry, threatening to make aluminum cans much more expensive to produce and potentially driving up prices for consumers. CEO James Quincey has publicly acknowledged this challenge, stating that the company may have no choice but to use more plastic bottles in order to keep costs manageable and maintain affordable prices for customers. Plastic bottles are undeniably cheaper, especially in the face of rising aluminum costs due to tariffs. But this cost-saving measure comes at a price. Plastic is far less sustainable and has a much larger environmental footprint. Coca-Cola is already under intense scrutiny for its role in global plastic pollution, with environmental groups and activists regularly calling out the company for contributing to the world's plastic waste crisis. If Coca-Cola increases its use of plastic, it risks alienating eco-conscious consumers. especially younger generations who are increasingly making purchasing decisions based on a company's environmental impact. The company now finds itself caught in a difficult balancing act, facing financial pressure from rising material costs, while also trying to uphold its public promises about sustainability and environmental responsibility. Should Coca-Cola absorb the higher aluminum costs and risk shrinking profits, potentially affecting jobs and investments? Or should it switch to more plastic packaging and face a potential backlash from consumers, activists, and the media? This aluminum dilemma highlights how international trade policies and tariffs can force even the biggest companies into making tough, value-driven decisions that affect not just their bottom line, but also their reputation and relationship with the public. As Coca-Cola weighs its next move, the world is watching closely. What the company decides will reveal what truly matters most in this new era of global trade and environmental awareness. When Coca-Cola's costs go up, so do yours. Tariffs on aluminum mean higher production costs for canned drinks. Expect to pay more for your favorite 12-pack. Maybe just a few cents per can, but it adds up. For families on a budget, even small price hikes can mean switching brands or cutting back. Coca-Cola is already planning for price increases to offset rising costs. The company must balance raising prices with keeping customers loyal. Push prices too high and they risk losing market share. Tariffs meant to protect industries often end up costing consumers more. Trade debates may seem distant, but they hit home at the grocery store. Coca-Cola's challenge: manage costs without making soda a luxury. Switching from aluminum cans to plastic bottles isn't just a business move, it's an environmental setback. Coca-Cola has been named the world's top plastic polluter for years. Aluminum is far more recyclable than plastic, which often ends up in landfills or oceans. Tariffs that make aluminum expensive push companies toward more plastic, worsening pollution. This puts Coca-Cola in a tough spot, risk being called out for greenwashing if it backtracks on sustainability. Younger consumers care deeply about the environment, and brand reputation is at stake. Trade policy can have unintended consequences like more plastic waste. Companies must now choose between financial health and environmental responsibility. The world can't afford more plastic pollution. Coca-Cola's challenges aren't just American, they're global. As one of the world's most recognized brands, Coca-Cola operates in more than 200 countries, each with its own unique set of opportunities and obstacles. The company's red and white logo is instantly familiar, but the story behind its global presence is far more complex than it appears on the surface. Only 16% of its sales are in the US. The vast majority of its business comes from international markets. This means that Coca-Cola's success is deeply tied to the economic health and consumer preferences of people all over the world, not just Americans. This global reach helps balance risks. If sales dip in one region, growth in another can help offset losses. But it also adds layers of complexity, as the company must navigate different regulations, currencies, and cultural expectations. Tariffs in one country can disrupt supply chains and prices worldwide, making it harder to get products to shelves and keep costs stable. Even a small change in trade policy can ripple across continents, affecting everything from bottling to distribution. Trade disputes and political tensions create unpredictable markets. A diplomatic spat between two countries can suddenly make it more expensive or even impossible for Coca-Cola to do business there. American brands like Coke can become targets for boycotts or backlash overseas, especially during times of political tension. Sometimes being a symbol of America is a double-edged sword, drawing both admiration and criticism. To manage this, Coca-Cola localizes its operations, working with local partners, hiring local employees, and adapting its recipes and marketing to fit local tastes and customs. This approach helps the brand feel more at home in each market. This helps, but the brand can't escape its American roots. The company's identity is still closely tied to its origins, and that can be both a strength and a challenge in a rapidly changing world. Maintaining a positive image in hundreds of cultures is a constant challenge. Coca-Cola must be sensitive to local traditions and values while still projecting a consistent global brand. Trade wars and shifting alliances make this balancing act even harder, forcing the company to adapt quickly to new realities and sometimes make tough choices about where and how to operate. Coca-Cola must be both a global citizen and a symbol of American business. representing innovation and tradition at the same time. Its leaders are constantly working to build bridges and foster goodwill around the world. Navigating geopolitics is now part of the job. For Coca-Cola, staying successful means not just selling drinks, but also understanding the world's shifting political and cultural landscape and finding ways to thrive within it. Coca-Cola isn't waiting for the storm to pass. It's taking action. The company uses financial hedging to lock in aluminum prices and avoid sudden spikes. It's also sourcing more materials domestically to dodge tariffs and support U.S. industry. Innovation is key. Coke is investing in new packaging, plant-based plastics, and lighter bottles. The company is expanding fountain drinks and other formats to reduce single-use packaging. CEO James Quincy says packaging costs are still a small part of expenses, but flexibility is crucial. By combining financial tools, supply chain shifts, and innovation, Coca-Cola aims to stay strong. Adaptability is its best defense in a volatile world. Coca-Cola's challenges are as political as they are economic. The Trump administration's tariffs leave little room for negotiation. Companies must adapt or lose out. Meanwhile, environmental regulations are being rolled back, sending mixed signals. Trade policy pushes Coke toward plastic while public opinion demands less. Every move is scrutinized by media, activists, and consumers. If Coke is seen as putting profits over the planet, its image could suffer. The brand's decades-long reputation is on the line. Corporate diplomacy is now as important as business strategy. Coca-Cola must engage policymakers and communicate transparently with the public. How it handles this tightrope will define its leadership. Looking ahead, Coca-Cola projects steady growth, mostly from price increases, not more sales. Profit margins are under pressure from higher material costs and global uncertainty. The gap between revenue and profit growth shows how expensive business has become. The long-term impact of tariffs and packaging changes will unfold over years. If Coke shifts to more plastic, it'll need major PR and sustainability efforts to counter criticism. Diversifying into coffee, sports drinks, and healthier options is part of the plan. Agility and flexibility are now essential for survival. The era of stable global trade is over. Uncertainty is the new normal. Coca-Cola's journey will be a case study in adapting to economic nationalism. The brand is strong, but the road ahead is unpredictable. Coca-Cola's story is a glimpse into a new era for global business. Economic walls, tariffs, trade disputes, protectionism are replacing decades of integration. Companies must rethink strategies for a more unpredictable world. Consumers will see higher prices and changing products as a result. Trade policy now shapes what's on store shelves and at what cost. Corporate priorities are being tested, profits versus environmental and social commitments. The simple act of buying a Coke is now tied to global politics and sustainability. In this interconnected world, every political ripple reaches the vending machine on your corner.